I'm pleased to say I'm joined by the former Development Tour title winner, Rusty Jake Rodriguez. Thanks for the time. How are you doing?
Hello, no worries. Good, thank you.
Good to hear. Well, let's start off at the beginning for you in darts. We spoke with one of your brothers, Rowby John, for this week's show yesterday. I assume your interest in darts came from the family too?
Yes, exactly. My dad used to play probably not even when my oldest brother was born. So basically, I grew up with darts, and he taught me darts. I couldn't walk and still had darts in my hand, so it's a family thing, really.
Talk to us about your early years playing darts. You made the final of the WDF World Youth Cup at the age of 14. What are your memories of that run?
Oh, that was in Turkey. How many years? 6 years from now on, absolutely. It was, I think, at that time, like, and at my youth games, that was my biggest achievement, getting to the World Cup final, losing to Michael Verberg. Still remember it was like yesterday, but lost it, played alright, but he was just better.
And then at 15 you won your first WDF senior title, winning the Hungarian Masters, beating a certain Krzysztof Ratajski on the way to the title. What did that win mean to you?
I think I'm the youngest ever person to win a WDF title senior. I'm not sure about it, but I think so. It was absolutely amazing. Yeah, I beat good names over there and in Hungary, and it's weird, you know. You're 15, you're playing good, and you're beating good players, and it gives you the confidence, obviously, to go further and further, and that's what I'm doing.
A great achievement at such a young age, and shortly after your 16th birthday you head to Q School for the first time. Was that always the aim, to try and get on the PDC main tour as soon as you were able to enter?
I was sometimes disappointed when I was 15 that I can't play the European, the Q School or the Development Tour, because I was aiming for that all the time when I was already 14 or 15, and you're going to switch from the BDO to the PDC. So that's what I've done, and yeah, that's where I stick.
Well, looking back at that year, 2017, lots of highlights to pick out. You had a quarter-final on the Challenge Tour, then a title on the Development Tour. I was looking at some of the names that you beat on the way to that title. Luke Humphries, Ted Evans, who have won a lot of titles on that tour. What was that feeling like winning your first PDC title?
Yeah, it was in Germany, in Hildesheim. It was boiling hot in the room, and I was sweating, and to be honest, I was so nervous in the final. Rowby was there as well, and he couldn't watch it. He was just at the back, probably 10 rows somewhere, so I can't see him. Otherwise I get nervous, and it was, yeah, absolutely amazing, and hopefully more tournament wins for me sooner.
Yeah, you mentioned your brother later that year in Vienna. You made your debut on the Euro Tour, qualifying along with your brothers Rowby and Roxy. We don't get to see those post-nation qualifiers apart from following on Dart Connect. So what was it like that night when all three of you won through the qualifiers?
It was, well, Rowby left earlier, and Roxy was looking at me. I was playing in the last game, so Rowby went through already, was qualified already. Roxy was qualified already. I was the only person who didn't qualify yet, and I was nervous, to be honest. And yeah, Roxy stayed and watched me, and that gave me a bit of confidence. And yeah, there was never been three brothers in one European tour, so we made history there as well.
And you all lined up on that Friday night session in the first round, and fair to say you stole the show, winning on your debut. How special a moment was that, and still at 16, very early on in your career, to get a win?
I was 12 hours before my game there. I had the last game at the night, right, and I was probably at 12 a.m. already there. I was practicing already. I was watching the games. Can't believe, and yeah, the crowd was amazing. Yeah, and I played pretty good, and yeah, stole the show, stole the hearts of the fans.
Happy days. Well, 2018 you come very close to winning a tour card at Q School. That year we see you a few more times on the Euro Tour, some more deep runs on the Development Tour, the Challenge Tour. Also that year you and Rowby contested the final of the South and East Europe qualifier for the Worlds. What was that like, playing your brother for a spot at Ali Pali?
To be honest, that was that is one of the worst days in my life. I had chances to win. I didn't take it. didn't take it, and he went through the LPLA, and we didn't know that he was already qualified, so he had to play his game, I had to play my game. If he would knew that he's qualified already, he wouldn't play it, so probably I would have won it. But you never know, and I just lost it, and probably 2 or 3 weeks of disappointment, and yeah, I can't. It's gone. It's past tense now, so can't do anything now.
Well, let's talk about some happier times, and of course you have played on the Ali Pali stage, winning the JDC World Championship there. What was that experience like, getting to play the final on the biggest stage in darts?
Yeah, it was great, but there was no crowd in it. It's probably like 3-4 people, but still, yeah, without any crowd in it, it's like a normal floor tournament. I mean, you're playing on a stage, yes, but no crowd is nothing special really, but really happy to win the title, and a world championship title, and no one can take it from you.
And obviously a difficult year last year with the pandemic, a lot of events being cancelled, and a big break during the year with no events. How did you find that time? Was it hard to keep motivated, or did you manage to keep practicing throughout?
I'm so lazy. I usually don't practice, so I was just fine. I didn't practice a lot. I spent a lot of times with my friends, with my girlfriend, with everything. Beside that, and as soon as the tournament were here, where the tournament calendar was outside, still didn't practice really, and just do my own business like I always do, because I don't practice a lot really.
Well, a very different Q School this year with the 2 stages, but you come through the first stage on day 1, a run to the last 8 on the final day, and again coming so close to getting that tour card, missing out by 1 spot on the order of merit. I think it was down to leg difference in the end. How hard was that to get over, being so close?
The last day against Robert Marianovic, I was too confident. I thought myself, I can't lose, and if you're overconfident, you lose in that game. So basically my own fault, but it's always a learning process. So I'm still young, I can still do it. Next year I can actually, it's difficult. For me, you keep on saying, yeah, it's this time, it's this time, it's this time. Sometimes you're so disappointed, and losing the leg differences makes it even worse, but that makes me playing the best out of my life at the moment, because I learned from it, and I'm still at the Pro Tours. I played all the Pro Tours really, and yeah, it's difficult, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, leaving Germany though, just 8 days later you were in Burton for that first Super Series, getting a call up as an invited player due to tour card holders missing out, and as you say, you've played in all the Pro Tours so far. Did you have an idea that you'd likely still play in a lot of the events in these first few months?
Yeah, of course. I was number one. I have the number 1 spot if someone goes out, and there's always one guy who doesn't play, and a lot of Germans. I mean, they got a tour card, and it's just they got work, but I don't know why they're playing it really, because they got a tour card. They played 1 Pro Tour, that was in Germany. Since then, nothing. I mean, the rule really. Yeah, they took my spot really, because 2 or 3 players from Germany are not playing. They only play in Germany. That's it.
Well, you've made your mark without having that tour card. You've made 4 last 16 so far. You've beat some established names as well. What have been the highlights or the games that you look back on that you're most proud of from playing in these Players' Championship events so far this year?
There's too many actually. I was first when I was in Burton. I was like, Jesus, I'm in the room with the big boys now. And yeah, and first day was a bit. I was not having my confidence. I was like, where am I? What am I supposed to do here? And yeah, played not good. And then I took some advice of Menza and Rowby. They said, keep calm. You're gonna be the best in this room one day. And yeah, just smashing it. And then gave me a bit of confidence as well, and started on winning. Not bad for a first week at the Pro Tour really.
You played him at Q School. You've also played him in one of those Players' Championship events this year. Your brother Rowby, you mentioned yesterday, he's got a good record against you in games in the PDC, but he also admitted that in practice it's a different story. You win a lot of the time. You've obviously played him thousands of times in practice, but what was it like when you play your brother in a PDC event?
As a younger brother, really, you just want to smash him. You want to make him, let him cry. That's my goal, actually, but it's not working at the moment. He got a brilliant record against me, but it's the nerves, really, because the younger brother wants always to win against the older brother. You wanna show him that you're the better player. But I am the better player, but I'm still losing. And yeah, it's at least at the Pro Tour, one of us goes through. So one of us has the rankings money, and this is very important. But I want to be that guy, really.
Well, I mentioned we spoke to him yesterday. Rowby did ask us to ask you who is the better player, you or him.
100% me. What did he say?
He just said to ask you. We said anything we should ask you, and he said who's the better player.
Yeah, it's 100% me, without any doubt.
Well, let's look ahead, and like Rowby, it's going to be a busy week coming up for yourself. I assume that you're running on the same schedule as he is, a Challenge Tour Friday to Sunday, the Euro Tour qualifies Monday, and then the Super Series Tuesday to Thursday?
Yeah, that's the goal. That's my plan. It's going to be very busy, yes. Going to be hard 1.5 weeks playing 13 events. Hopefully I don't get tired too quick and don't get bored, really, and yeah, hopefully some good results as well.
Yeah, we should mention those Euro Tour qualifiers. They only got announced on yesterday when we were talking. What did you think when you saw the news? Was it a hard decision to skip one day of the Super Series, or did you think you've got the right balance still?
I spoke to Rowby, I spoke to Russ, I spoke to my manager, and to be honest, I don't. It's like you miss one Pro Tour, right, and you have three chances to qualify for the European Tour. So if you qualify for one, you got a grand already for the Pro Tour order of merit as well. So it could well be that I'm gonna go fly to England and lose the first round. So it's from the mindset. It's better if you play the qualifier. So it wasn't a difficult decision, really. So took it, and I asked my manager what should I do, and he said do that. Bang, I did it.
Fair enough. Well, that's 7 days that you're going to be playing in a row in 2 different countries. Have you ever done anything close to that before, and how do you prepare for something like that?
Since the last Pro, I didn't touch a dart. And yeah, well, you go into the venue and you practice. You go 3-4 hours before the event anyway. And you got to practice 3-4 hours warming up, and that's actually your practice. You can't say you don't know how. You go into the room and you know how to throw a dart. So if you're warming up 3-4 hours, you know how to do it. So basically, no need to practice because you got to play 7 days in a row anyway. Probably the first day is going to be a bit of warm up, like I always do, and yeah.
Well, lastly, as we enter this second half of the year, starting off with a busy week of events, but there's lots to play for. What are you looking to get out of these next 6 months? Is there one goal in particular, qualifying for the Worlds, getting a tour card through the Challenge Tour, the World Cup potentially? What's the one goal that you're looking for at the minute?
World Championship qualify. To qualify for a World Championship. That's it. That's the only goal. And probably this week in 7 days win 15 to make sure that I qualify for the World Championships already, and if I could do another 4,000 or 5,000, I should be in.
Fingers crossed for that. Well done on the year so far, and we wish you all the best for this busy week coming up and for the rest of the year, and thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.